Janusz, the youngest son of Karolina and Joseph Kauss, was born on the 22nd of May 1928 in the bucolic surroundings of Chorów in Poland, now part of the Ukraine. Janusz was merely 11 years old when in September 1939 Germany and Russia invaded Poland. Their father was arrested and detained by the Russian military and was imprisoned. 3 months later, their mother Janusz and 2 brothers, Henrik and Kazik, were awoken at dawn on their remote farm by Russian soldiers armed with rifles, and bellowing with rage, they were immediately ordered out their house at gunpoint. They were given no prior warning and were forced to leave all their possessions behind. Their livestock and family dog were shot dead by the military. The family were then laden into dilapidated wooden trucks and taken to the nearest railway station, where they were then constrained into cattle wagons to be deported to the frozen waste of the Siberian camps. They endured a grueling 3-week journey in Arctic sub-zero conditions. They were given meagre rations of stale bread and were dehydrated, and the only way they could obtain water was by scraping the snow from the roof of the wagon and melting it in the palm of their feeble hands. Many died en route, mostly due to an epidemic of dysentery, which decimated men, women and children. Once they arrived in Siberia, they were assigned to toiling in the forest transporting logs and other menial tasks. The living conditions were brutal. Many were dying from starvation, typhoid, malaria and exhaustion. Kazik, the eldest brother, spent relentless hours rummaging through the foliage around the camp seeking food for the family. Whilst in Siberia, it was reported their father was in the same camp. They managed to see him, but he was almost unrecognizable due to his emaciated body. This was the last time they saw their father, and it is believed he was buried in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. In 1941, after 2 arduous years, their freedom was gained by Polish General Władysław Anders, who negotiated with Stalin the release of thousands of Polish refugees. But only the physically fit and able-bodied were allowed to leave. Unfortunately, Janusz did not meet this criteria, and it was only due to the intervention of a close friend who disguised his frangible body by covering him in an oversized padded trench coat that enabled him to leave and rejoin his family. The family were then extradited to Persia, now known as Iran. On arrival in Persia, their mother joined the Red Cross as a nurse, and his 2 elder brothers joined the Polish Carpathian Lancers. Due to Janusz's young age, he was enlisted in the Polish Cadets, and it was during this period he suffered a severe attack of dysentery and malaria. But unfortunately, due to the inadequate supply of suitable medication and drugs, it was deemed he was beyond help, and as with other subsequent cases, was left by the roadside in the hope that the follow-up of medical units would arrive in time to save his life. Fortunately, in the interim, a good Samaritan happened to be passing by and helped him to the next village, where he made a recovery and later rejoined the Polish Cadets, serving in Palestine, Egypt and Italy. Their mother was a great influence on their life, as she had the inner belief, faith and courage that whatever obstacles or challenges they may endure, they would survive. It was some years later, whilst their mother was working in a hospital with the Red Cross, that led to her being reunited with Kazik, as it was by chance that she overheard the family name Kauss mentioned in conversation, and it transpired that Kazik was recuperating in the same hospital. Unfortunately, after the war, they were prohibited from going back to their homeland, as it was occupied by the Russians. The family were reconciled in 1946 when they came to Great Britain. They were accommodated in a resettlement camp at Penley Polish Hospital No. 3 at Penley in Wrexham. The housing was primitive and divided into 6 sections of single-room houses, with a laundry, church and school building. His mother depicts quite a sociable image, with singing songs in the evening, listening together to the radio, praying and doing craft work in the evenings. During this time, Kasich was stationed with his regiment in Grimsby, and it was there that the family decided to relocate. Due to the tenacity and effort by Janusz and his family, the ease in transition into a new country and the community was made relatively easy, as they all soon acquired the knowledge and skills of the English language and culture. Janusz had a zest for life and possessed an incredible strong working ethic. He had a passion for cooking, dancing, and consequently made a plethora of friends. He was a gentleman and had great respect for his peers. It was at a local dance in 1953 in Cleethorpes that Janusz met his future wife Shirley. They courted for 6 sensational years and married at Corpus Christi Catholic Church, Cleethorpes, in 1959. Due to work commitments, Janusz and Shirley relocated to Scunthorpe and had 2 daughters whom he cherished dearly. Janusz was patriotic and firmly rooted in Polish traditions, custom, religion, and manners were fundamental. His family were at the heart of everything, with Christmas and Easter being symbolic occasions celebrating with his family. Indeed, any milestone was used as an excuse to gather the family together with copious amounts of food and drink. When Janusz returned to Poland many years later, he was deeply disconcerted by how Poland had changed and how the people had endured communism oppression, with the rationing of food, essential commodities, and the increase in poverty. Janusz lived through some of the greatest moments in history, and his momentous event in Poland's history was when Lech Walesa formed the country's first independent trade union, Solidarność, which ultimately led to the overthrow of communism in Poland and brought unity and stability to the country and its people. The most poignant event in his life was the birth of 3 beautiful granddaughters, of which he embraced with dedicated adoration and devotion, and they played a pivotal role in his life. Janusz inspired his children and grandchildren, and through them he has left an indelible legacy of principles and wisdom that will hopefully continue for many generations to come. Sadly and unexpectedly, in the presence of his loving and devoted family around him, he passed away peacefully on the 18th of August 1991 and was interred in Messingham Parish Church.
We thought of you with love today, but that is nothing new. We thought about you yesterday and days before that too. We think of you in silence, we often speak your name. Now all we have is memories and your picture in a frame. Your memory is our keepsake, with which we'll never part. God has you in his keeping, we have you in our heart.